Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Hawk. So today is day 8 of 9 of our daily creative challenges, so we only have one more day left. Crazy! So thanks, guys, for sticking around for these 2 weeks. Welcome, everyone in the chat. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Thursday. Rosie said she just had a 4.92K run and came back for Adobe Live. I feel so honored. Thank you. And awesome job on that. That's really cool. Awesome. We've got Sam, Akeen, Cindy, Rosie. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. So today we're going to be working on responsive resize. So if you have not done it before ever, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. So don't worry if it sounds kind of scary. So that's what our challenge is going to be. Let's go ahead and hop on over to Behance. I'll pull up our webpage over here. So this is behance.net/challenge/XD. And this is where you can find all of our daily prompts. So if you're not already registered, go ahead and sign up right here with that big blue button. And of course, if you don't already know, the XD Daily Creative Challenge is just your chance to build up your portfolio, learn something new, and connect with the community. So be sure to watch every day live at 11:30 Pacific time and share your work on Behance so I can give you feedback. All right, let's scroll down and see what today's challenge is. So we've unlocked responsive resize. So what I want you guys to do is design an experience that tracks invoices and payments for freelance designers. So since the whole theme of these 2 weeks has kind of been like doing things that can help you as a designer. So today we're working on an invoice tracker. So using prototype mode, display when invoices are sent and received. So if you'd like, you can click that Get Started button. That'll take you to Dropbox, and you can hit the download, direct download. And this starter file is just kind of some things to get you started. It'll look a little something like this. It will not have this or any of my colors and stuff because I want you guys to try to, make something your own. I know people were asking, where are the character styles yesterday in Discord? Or the other day, I don't remember which day. So yeah, try to just be creative, use your own ideas, come up with something unique. So Discord, if you're not already a member, I think we've got about 35,000 of you guys already over there. So it's an awesome community for designers. Feel free to tap this Join Us button, or you can tap this link right here, bit.ly/XD Discord, and that's where you can sign up. So let's hop on over there, see what's going on. So this is Discord. It may seem overwhelming at first, but don't worry, it's a lot of fun. So this is just a place where you can post some of your work. If you want feedback, you can ask questions in the Ask a Question channel. Got lots of just awesome conversations going on. If you have anything career related, got some questions about that, applying to design jobs, post in a career advice. And of course, the Creative Challenge channel. This is a read-only channel where we post every time we're going live for the Daily Creative Challenge. So that is a bit about Discord. Let's go ahead and hop on into our starter file. Let me make this full screen. Welcome everyone who's just joining in the chat. Anna, Richard. Yeah, Richard is excited for responsive resize. Awesome. Okay. So our challenge prompt, responsive resize. So I like to give you guys a little preview of where it is if you just don't really know where to start. So it's over here. Right now it's grayed out because we don't have any artboard selected, but when we start working, we'll be able to toggle that on and dive into that a little bit more. There's a few different settings that we can try out. So we'll play around with that today. And we're working on an invoice tracker sort of thing. So here's some inspiration. This one's by Vlad. A little bit busy, but I do like that he incorporated a bunch of different graphs and charts. You can take some ideas from especially this area down here. So show the client, maybe the date you sent out the invoice, maybe the invoice number, the amount that you charged, the status, if it was paid or in process, whatever. yeah, you can use a little chart like that. So if you want to do desktop and mobile or smartwatch and mobile, you can use whatever sizes of screens you want. I'm personally going to be going from mobile to iPad. I think they're pretty similar in size, so it's a little easier, I think. But always the main trick is to start with the smallest size, because if you start from the biggest size, you're going to end up having a lot more content that you're not going to be able to find room for. So always start with the small size and then build up from there. And this one I also liked, by Giga on Dribbble. So again, showing a little like profits and losses, margin over here. I like the graph sort of visuals. And then we've got, particular client. So Gary, we can see that he viewed the invoice after we sent it and he's already paid. So yeah, feel free to use some ideas like that if you would like. And of course, check out the resource booklet right here. Click through those component states, just see some of my favorite links for icons and such. And then I've got some tips down here just about invoices and tracking payments and stuff. And of course, be sure to share your work on Behance and Discord when you're done. So Behance, share with that keyword XD Daily Challenge so I can find your work and give you feedback. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome everyone in the chat. I'm trying to look at the chat more because I feel like I tend to just get so sucked into my design. So remind me if I do not look up. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be going from mobile to iPad, and there's a few different ways that you can do responsive resize. You can do each item sort of individually, so copy it over from artboard to artboard and then resize it with responsive resize, or you can just, and I'll show you how to do both of these ways, or you can just resize it like this, resizing the whole artboard. So there's pros and cons, I think, to both ways, and we'll kind of dive into that. So like I mentioned, I'm going to start with the smallest size. So this is just iPhone XS, and then we're going to work our way up. So I'm just going to make a title here. Oops. Invoices. You guys always want to know what font I'm using, so this is Omnis today. Omnis? They should come with pronunciations. And then below this, I'll say something like last 30 days, so we can track specific dates. And I'll bring this up a bit, make it a bit transparent. And then we need, of course, a little drop-down arrow. I always like to have just a little assets panel down here. You can use your components over here, or I just like to throw everything on another artboard just so I can see it all very easily. Okay, so while we're building this, we want to make sure that we're grouping everything into just certain groups. So when we start using responsive resize, it knows which items to kind of magnetize together. So, this area I'm kind of wanting to magnetize over to the left and sort of towards the top, but I for sure know I want these two to be grouped together, so I'll just do Command G to group. And then I want these three to be grouped together, so again, Command G. And we'll just keep on adding some of our icons. So up here in the top left, I'm going to add my little menu. And then, let's see, in the top right, we want to say maybe the year. So let's say 2020. And make this just in the same line as our menu icon. And then right here, I was thinking about adding a graph, but it just got too complicated and too busy. So I'm just going to add what we've received and what's still unpaid. So just a little overview. So we'll say received and make it a bit smaller like this. And then we'll have pending or paid or whatever. And then below that, we'll have the amount. So let's say This is obviously a fictitious number, 40,000 or something. And then over here, we'll say like 3,000, something like that. Okay. And then I'll just add some little circles to indicate with color so we can very easily see received and pending. So received, of course, will be green. Make that a little smaller. And then pending will be red. So let's make that red. Okay. And I'll make these a little bit just not as in your face, since I want the actual numbers to stand out and not the headers, sort of. Okay, so now again we need to group these. So I want to group all three of these together. So Command G, and then I want to group all three of these together, and then I want to group both of these together. So we're really being conscious of our grouping while we're doing this, so we're ready for responsive resize. And then down here I'll just list all of my invoices. So I need a way to kind of sort through all of those. So I'm going to add just this little like 3 buttons so we can choose like all or received or pending, basically. So no border. And let's add some lines here. Copy and paste that. And make this a little bit wider. Okay. And then let's add the text. So we'll say like paid. And then they can click through each one of these to sort or filter. Paid. Move this over. And then we'll just say like all, so both paid and unpaid. And I want this one to look like it's selected, so I'll have it darker. And then this one will be unpaid. Unpaid. Okay. And needs a little bit more space. So again, this, oh, the spacing looks a little off. That's okay. Okay, that's better. So again, all of these I want to group together. So responsive resize knows how to group everything. Okay, so below here, I can just start adding some of my invoices. So we're just gonna do a repeat grid. So I'll start by naming like a project, project 1. And then below that, we'll have like the client name. Okay. And then we'll have the cost or the payment amount. So just like that. Okay. Let's add these 2 dots like right here if we want to click into it to see more. And then what I want to do is add all of these. Just some like illustrations of the actual PDF that we sent out. Okay. And I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second. So again, let's group all these together. Command G to group. And let's do a repeat grid for this. So I'll just have like 4 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give it some more space. And now what I want to do, I've got a folder of those just like little PDF images, and I just want to drag and drop them in. So I feel like it's easier to have these as like separate items in your Finder, and then you can update all of these as opposed to just dragging them in manually. It's a little thing, but the little things, it's just nice. Okay, so we've got our mobile already done. Now what we want to do is go from mobile to iPad. So again, just to add a new artboard, you just come over here to the artboard icon and then choose whatever size you want. I just chose iPad. And I actually am not going to copy and paste everything on here. I found that the easiest way to do this is to copy and then paste the same iPhone artboard And then what we're gonna do, let's move these over a little bit, is, so I'm gonna turn on responsive resize. So turn on that little toggle right there. And I just drag the bottom. And okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm gonna zoom in a bit. And we wanna pay attention to where all of these groups are going and what they're kind of being magnetized to. So if it's the top or bottom, you know, how they're being stretched. So let's pay attention to that, and we may have to adjust a few things. So let's drag this down, and I want it to meet the very bottom. So it's the same height. And we can see already that most of this up here is working pretty well. Responsive resize guessed correctly. This part, we actually want to be along this line. So let's go ahead and just undo. And then all we have to do is just double click in and group those items together. So let's go ahead and just group all of these and Command G to group. Oh, there was something. Oh, I see. I have this little pattern, like wavy pattern. I can't select it. Okay. Group those and then group all of these items in the header area together. So now when we drag this down, it will stay in the same area that we want it to. And then another trick, just drag this down here. And same thing, I just want to match the width of this. So I'm going to drag this across. And the cool thing is, you'll see, you'll notice a few things. So one is that since we used repeat grid here, it's creating more rows of that, which is really neat. We actually don't want that, but it would be cool. And this is what we want. We want this to kind of go all the way across. But this part right here, we want that to also go all the way across. So let's undo. And what we can do, if there's something that's not really behaving how you want it to with responsive resize, you can go in, go to manual. And so right now, this just means, so usually it's set to auto, and manual, you can set what sides you want it to be magnetic to, basically. And I keep saying magnetic, but that's like the easiest way for me to describe it. Like, what sides does it kind of get stuck to? So I want it to not have a fixed width and be stuck to both of the sides. So let's try this again and see if that is how we want to go. Yes, perfect. So that's pretty as close as we can get it. So now you might just have to go in and do a little finagling yourself. But overall, I feel like it saves a ton of time, to be honest. So let's go in, and what I want to do after we've done all our responsive resize, I realized, oh, I think this is a little too big. So I'm just gonna bring this in a tad bit. So play around with that manual setting in responsive resize, and you can kind of, you'll start to see the patterns of how it kind of groups things together. So actually, I'm deciding that I'm gonna bring this guy up here since we have a lot of space on the tablet. So might as well use it. And then this, we can bring up a bit, bring up that a bit. And same with all of these. Let's bring these over. And then our repeat grid, we can continue to drag it down. But I don't want to have all of these horizontally, the columns. So I'm just going to drag this over so we do not see the rest of this. And I'm going to add, since we have a lot more space, I'm going to go ahead and add just a few other items in here. So since we did repeat grid, again, we can just very easily add a few more items, some more details. So let's say like the date we sent out the invoice. So like just some random number and maybe another number when we received it. Okay. So obviously some of those numbers are off, but you get the idea. And then I can add some of these icons up here just to indicate, okay, this is the cost, the payment, and this is when we sent it out, and this is when we received it. Cool. So that is a very quick overview of responsive resize. So again, if you want to do it the way I did it, with just like kind of copying, not actually pasting everything on a new artboard and just moving your original artboard, moving the edges of it, you can do it that way. Or you can go in and individually just copy and paste like all of your items if you want to like really pay attention to each item at a time. So I think it's a little quicker to just resize the whole artboard in general though. So that is about it for responsive resize. So let's go ahead and Command S to save. And if you want to, you can select both of these artboards and File, Export, Selected, and just save it wherever you want. I'll make a new folder, day 7. I'll save it as a PNG. All right, let's hop into Behance. Cool. Okay, so let's go over to my profile. And I already have one started, obviously. So I'm going to edit. And just the main thing that you need to remember when you're adding all of your items is go over to the settings panel, and then in that go to discoverability, and then we've got that keyword XD daily challenge. So make sure you add that keyword so we can find your work and give you feedback if you would like it. So let's go ahead and search for some of you guys' work. So I'm going to search XD daily challenge and sort by most recent. Okay, so I think this one is new. I don't think we'll get through all of these, but I just want to try. So this one's by Cornelian. I love this one. I just saw it right before the stream, and I think I saw you in the chat, Cornelian, so hello. Let me get rid of this. So let's look at his prototype. Make this full screen. Okay. So this was the one from yesterday. The events for designers. Click on one of the dates, and we've got that card that swipes up. Lovely. Close. And component states. Nice. I love your animations. Very smooth. And the way that the animation, even with the little carrot right there, that was nice. This one's just like soothing and clean to me. I really like this one. So thank you, Cornelian, for sharing that one. Next up, we've got Joshua. Again, Joshua's been killing it. He's been doing it every single day. So way to go. And again, this is the Meetup app. So we've got that little swipe up to see more details. RSVP, you put your name in. Yeah, this looks great. Love it. And Joshua, I feel like for all of his, he really builds out like the whole app, which is totally above and beyond. You don't have to do that, but really awesome job. Thanks, Joshua. This looks great. Okay, next one, Diva Michelle or Mitchell. Okay, let's look at your prototype. Oops, let me go back a bit. So this is the events app. So we've got the drop downs up here. Let's see if she clicks on, yep. And we can choose a design field. Nice, I like they use tags. Very cool. Color palette's very like autumnal too, I like it. Very warm. Cool, we've got the calendar. Again, you guys are building out like a whole app. I love it. Awesome. And then we've got the details. This looks so great. All right, guys, that is about all the time that we have left for today. Thank you all so much for joining. I will be back again tomorrow for our very last stream of these 2 weeks at least at 11:30 Pacific time, so don't miss that. And in about 5 minutes, we've got our 2-hour Illustrator live stream with Shanti Sparrow. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See ya.